Hey, Caitlin. Nice job here. I really like how you did your spheres. They definitely have a look of solidity. Um, and I like the attempt at this box. I just have a few suggestions for this because it's pretty easy even to make it look a little bit more realistic in Photoshop. Um, so the first thing I'm just going to do, this is going to be real kind of quick and dirty, cheesy sort of. I'm just going to copy this. Box. Also, if you shade, I would shade it the same way that you shaded the spheres. So I'm using the polygonal lasso tool. I'm having trouble seeing it connect though. There it goes. No. Okay, I think I have it now. Selected. So I'm just going to copy this onto this other layer, just so I have a copy of it. So what you could do is you could go up into the perspective adjustment tool. I'm just going to add a quick, fill this with white just so I can see it a little bit better with the paintbrush. You could go into, and I'm selecting later, it's under the edit menu at the top. So edit and then go transform and do perspective. And then you're going to get this box. So if you want, and you want the back to look smaller because it's further away, you want this side. So if you just kind of drag it, it will kind of make it look a little bit smaller. This one needs to be down a little bit too, though, actually. There's a few little issues with the box, but you could do something like that, and it will help the. It's just this side is kind of looks a little off. So I mean, one way to, I'm just going to use the line tool. Just a second. Okay. Yeah. Here's what I was trying to do. I just had to select this one part of the box. And I know it's kind of separated now from apply from the other one. So again, you can just select this part then and just move it, and again, when you're doing these kinds of things, if you put each object on a new layer, it'll just it'll just really work to just be easier to handle. I'm just trying to fit this in here a little bit and move it down. I mean, it probably, to be honest, probably just better to kind of just redo it. But again, you can see it looks a little bit better. Some of these pieces need to be dealt with. And then again, what I would do is I'm going to move this layer over. What I would do is give it, now this isn't correct at all, but I mean, it's kind of, boxes, if the furthest away edge will be shorter. But so then with this one, then I would kind of look at the lighting, and I would give it the same kind of lighting as, the cube. So that means that this side is going to be a little bit darker. So again, you can just, that's why it's so important to do everything in layers. So if, let's say you select this side of the box, I mean, there's a lot of different ways to do this. You can even just burn it in with the burn tool, but I'm just going to copy this and then I'm going to put it on a different layer. And then you can do a levels adjustment, which will make it darker or lighter if you want, or you can do a brightness and contrast as well. So then if you make this darker, now you just have to wait, because I'm going to clip this, what's called a clipping mask, and I'm going to clip it. And again, then you see how this one side's darker, and that's a way to, and then you probably want the inside darker too a little bit more. So that's another way to, kind of create depth. I mean, I know this is a real roundabout way. Another way you could do it is just on your own. I'm going to turn all this stuff off. Is if you go in, and I'm going to copy it because I tend to copy layers. You could go in and then you can just use like the burn tool here. And you can, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Make the brush bigger. And if I use the burn tool, I always really go with a very low opacity, and I'm going to say mid-tones. So then you can kind of just burn it and make it darker. You can see it's starting to get a little bit darker. You know, another thing you could do too is if you have it on another layer, you can also just make the one side darker. So anyway, I hope this isn't confusing you, but yeah, there's just a couple ways that really work to just create depth. And I would shade this the same way. Another thing you might want to do, just for interest, is either soften this line, background line here, or you could, you know, add a slight little bit of tone to the white here. And the reason that is, it's just this black and white is really stark, and it's a little bit, you know, this is just in terms of design, not in terms of what you're doing. So you could, you know, you could actually add a gradient and kind of soften it. If you wanted to kind of make this part look like a sky, you know, you could add a gradient from light to dark in the sky, you know, if you wanted to do that, because that's kind of how skies, you know, skies even kind of look like that. So, you know, just some things to try. But overall, I would just work on it a little bit more just to get you know, just to practice with Photoshop and get some ideas with how to do some stuff. And again, up here, there's some really good tutorials. I don't know if you've viewed them. Not the Illustrator ones, but the Photoshop ones, like this one here, and also the gradient tool. All of the Photoshop ones are really quite good. I just, the Illustrator ones just are kind of just too filtery. Okay, so anyway, sorry to go on for so long, but you know, they used to have students submit the Photoshop files, and it was so much easier to help with that, you know, but now, you know, it's just working with this flattened file. Okay, so yeah, nice job.